Hello, my name is Thomas Martin, and today I am presenting my research paper, which is on non-relational databases. Non-relational databases are types of databases that do not use the table and column model that relational databases use. That being said, there are multiple different types of non-relational databases. They are often much more specific for the type of data they store and are application dependent. And another one of the qualities is that tables are not joinable. NoSQL is used to describe databases that do not use SQL to query data and instead use other languages. Oftentimes, this means they use a programming language to get results. For example, Sparksy, a graph database, uses C++ for queries. However, common usage of the term NoSQL is actually used to describe any non-relational database, regardless if it uses SQL-style queries or not. As I previously mentioned, there are many different types of non-relational databases. Some of these include document, column family, graph, key value, objects, and external index databases. The first type of non-relational database that I'm going to talk about is the document database. A document database works by storing all pertinent data in a formatted string such as JSON. Because the data is stored in a JSON string, or what is known as the document, usually the entire data for one entity is stored in a single document. On top of that, documents do not have to all store the same data or follow the same structure. Most document databases allow reading and writing of individual fields within the document without having to read and write the entire document. One of the great advantages of this type of data storage is that it's easier to restructure the data. The database uses a key to access individual documents. This key can be auto-generated or based on some unique value in the document. This is a visualization of a document database. While all three documents have ID fields, the name field is different between document 1, 2, and 3. Up next is the column family database. Column family databases appear a lot like relational databases because data is still stored in tables, rows, and columns. The largest difference is that columns are grouped into column families. This works similarly to the document database in that not every column in a column family needs to be populated. Because columns are stored as files as opposed to rows, it lends itself to compressing and also uses less disk space compared to a relational database. As you can see in the left image here, while the column family is identity, there are actually separate different columns for each customer ID. And as you can see on the right, column databases store each individual column as a text file. The last non-relational database I will talk about is the graph database. Graph databases store two types of information, nodes and edges. Nodes are used to represent entities, and edges are used to represent the relationship between entities. Edges can have direction, which indicates the nature of a relationship. For example, Joe, an entity, works for David, another entity in the database. Without the direction edge, it can be interpreted that instead, David works for Joe. One of the largest advantages of this type of database is that it is much more efficient at queries such as find all the employees that work for David, or people that bought this item also bought something else. This is a visualization of a graph database. As you can see, the employee nodes have edges to other employees and department nodes. These edges show that they report to one another or work in certain departments. In conclusion, non-relational databases are typically used in specific applications where they can shine. There are a slew of different types of non-relational databases, and they all have their own quirks and features. This presentation was only the tip of the iceberg.